Today, we're going to discover how to value a commercial property exactly, easily, and quickly. How does that sound, Ellie?
Perfect.
Fantastic. So tell me about this commercial property and why have you been delivered a book?
I don't know if you can remember, but this is the one that I took you to show you in Ascot.
Yep.
I needed some help looking at the whole building to work out what was wrong, what you thought about it. One of the actions you gave me was to go and get a commercial surveyor out to get a commercial report. So I have the report, and now I'm not 100% sure what to do next.
With reports, they quite often talk about thud factor.
Yes.
I'll show you why.
That's quite funny.
Yes. What's the asking price? Because this is a hairdresser's downstairs, isn't it?
Yes.
And it's currently configured as a one-bedroom flat upstairs.
Yes.
But we think we can get a 3-bed flat, don't we?
We do, yeah.
You've briefed a surveyor, out they've gone.
Yeah.
How much did you pay for it?
Survey report,
Yeah.
£1,050.
£1,000. And what's the asking price of the property?
110,000.
110, all right. So we now need to read through this and try and work out whether it's a deal or no deal, don't we?
We do. He's told me some stuff that he thinks need doing with it, but I'm still no wiser with, if I put a tenant in, how much it will be.
Sure.
And if I can then put that into my pension.
So can you put the whole thing into your pension? No.
Yeah.
Might you not want to put the whole, even the commercial bit into your pension to begin with? Maybe not, because if you do, pensions don't pay tax and therefore the pension couldn't claim a capital allowance. So you might want to buy the whole thing, claim the capital allowance downstairs, and then do the refurb upstairs.
Yeah.
So my first little sticky note is opinion of value. So what's he given there?
He's given 52,500.
Against an asking price of 110.
10.
Now, is that good or bad?
Well, he said he's given it in condition freehold with vacant possession. So then I did wonder if the other agents had considered what the hairdressers was bringing in.
Yeah, but I mean, this is a retirement sale, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
So the intention is that the lady would sell it and move out.
Yeah.
So does that mean it'll be vacant when you buy it?
Yes.
Or no? Can you get another tenant?
Well, yes.
During the time that she's moving out?
Yes.
So what he's saying is he's putting an extremely low valuation on it because he's assuming it's going to be empty.
Yeah.
And the flat upstairs is, well, not derelict quite, but it needs a hell of a lot of work, doesn't it?
Yes, it does, yeah.
So if I then flip to the back, I think it was the last sticky note, he's put a very short piece in. I mean, you can see how big this report is, everybody. It's massive. Even by commercial valuation reports, this is quite a chunky one. I think he wanted to give you your money worth, or perceived money's worth. And he just put this tiny little paragraph in here about the valuation methodology. He said it's an investment method of valuation. So did that mean anything to you?
Nope, nothing.
The valuation equals the income divided by the yield as a percentage.
Yeah.
Remember that? So what he's actually saying here is he's given you the valuation, which is 52.5.
Yeah.
He hasn't told you the income.
No.
So that's a question mark. But he has told you the yield.
Yeah.
15.26%.
Yeah.
If you multiply that figure by that figure, it will tell you that figure. So it's 52,500 times 0.1526. He thinks that the income is going to be £8,000 a year. Based on what you know about that property, does the income from the shop, does that sound about right? If I turn it into monthly, that's 667.
Yeah, that's about right.
650, 700. So we're not necessarily disagreeing with the rent.
No.
But I think that yield is absurd. 15%. I mean, that's like from a commercial yield perspective, that's nuts, as in way too high.
Yeah.
And because it's way too high, that's depressing the value. Because how long has that hairdresser been in there?
Oh, years and years.
Like 20 years, 30 years? Long time. Yeah, so if you've got an established local business like that, the yield should be 10, 11, 12%, not 15.
Yeah.
And if we did the same thing, but we did it based on a 10% yield, well, suddenly instead of £50,000, it would jump up to £80,000. Because I think one of the things you need to do after this discussion is to speak to the surveyor.
Yeah, yeah.
Because when it comes to lending money against it, if that's what you wanted to do,
yes,
you need a proper assessment of yield, and 15% is nuts. Could I ask you to call the surveyor?
Yeah.
And just ask him to give you comparables at 15%. because I think that yield should be, I wouldn't necessarily argue at 11, but it should be more like 10. But the second thing, the even bigger thing that he hasn't attributed any value to at all, Abby, is it's a shop and uppers.
Yeah, it is.
Where's the value for the flat? He's a commercial surveyor. So you've got to watch for this, because commercial surveyors will value the commercial bit.
Yeah.
You need to ask him about the valuation for the upstairs.
Yeah.
Because what did you think the 3-bed flat would be worth?
75,000.
Okay, so let's put 75. But then let's be quite generous as to, because there is quite a lot of work to do, isn't there?
There is, yeah.
I mean, would you think 30k to do the work? So you've got 45k of value up there that he's not giving you a penny for.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it would necessarily be huge, but there should at least be 10, 20 grand or something.
Yeah.
So if the 75 grand is the finished price, then the plot itself, the building, will be worth maybe 25. The build will be 25, well, in this case we're saying 30.
Yeah.
And then your profit, another 25, giving you the 75. My view is that the 3-bed flat, in its current condition, is probably around the 25k mark.
Yeah.
I think a fair valuation, if you can get a tenant in it, when you buy it, 10% yield is more like 80k.
Yeah.
And then 25k for the flat, so maybe 105.
Yeah.
Which isn't too different from
the asking price.
The asking price. I would challenge that yield.
Yeah.
And I would ask specifically how much for the flat upstairs, because it's not worth nothing. I've put a little sticky note here because it says EPC. What does that EPC mean to you?
The EPC is an F, which means I cannot rent it out.
So that needs to be fixed. Is that going to have an impact on the value?
The EPC, I don't know.
Well, it's going to make it effectively valueless until you've got the EPC fixed.
Yes.
You won't be able to get a mortgage, never mind anything else. So next key action is work out, well, what's it going to cost to get the EPC to at least an E? Otherwise it will be unlettable and unmortgageable.
Yeah.
Is that all right?
Yep. EPC to E.
Okay, how do you feel about this? Flood risk. You're going underwater. Global warming. Ascot is going to be underwater.
It shouldn't be, and I don't think the area has flooded before.
No. So what it's saying is the property is located within 500 metres of an area designated. So they're flagging it up, but they're also going on to specifically say that there's not a risk.
Yeah.
Tenure, title, searches. So they're flagging up that there's been no searches done. What are you thinking about that?
So I only do searches for mortgage to get the finance on it, really, and and it seems like old-fashioned searches, like cold boards and stuff. So.
Yeah. No, I mean, he's stating the absolutely obvious here. I mean, you would never have had searches done if you're just instructing a survey. So personally, I don't do searches. I just indemnify the searches because it's quicker, it's cheaper. Mortgage companies are happy with it, so save a pile of time.
I didn't know mortgage companies were happy with it.
Yeah. For me, my advice would be, I don't think there's any need to do searches. Just indemnify the risk. What's your plan, ultimately? You want another person in the shop.
Another person in the shop.
So the next thing that I'd suggest that you talk to the surveyor about is, can they assist with tenanting? Because commercial surveyors will often assist with bringing tenants into the shop.
Yeah. Perfect.
I'd also suggest that you talk to the current owner.
Yeah.
Just to say, does she know anybody that might be interested in buying the business? In a perfect world, if you could sell that hairdressing business to somebody else, you could maybe get 10, 20 grand for the business, but then you've got a tenant. If you're selling a business like that, as you know, if the profit is 20, 30 grand a year, what could you possibly sell the business for in terms of income multiple?
Is it 3 times?
I'd say between 2 and 3.
2 and 3 times.
As well as selling the hairdressing business for 30k, you might pick yourself up a tenant for 8k, which makes your building worth 80.
Yeah.
See how much money we could get back out and work backwards from that to determine what your top price is. That will be 75k as a finished flat, which means that you could get 75% mortgage on that.
Yeah.
So if we say 75% of that, face. Unlock it with my face. It's 52 and a half. And if we then say it takes £30,000 to do it, then the most you could pay for upstairs and still get all your money out will be 22 and a half, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah,
roughly.
that's right, yeah.
And then downstairs, as long as the shop is tenanted before you buy it, then that's going to be 80k, 70% mortgage on that, that's another 56. So the most you could pay for downstairs is 56, the most you could pay for upstairs is about 22.5, so I think you're about 78.5. They're trying to get 110.
Yeah. This
report says 52.
Yeah.
So if you end up at 78, you're kind of meeting in the middle, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
5,400 a year from the flat. What would you put, a regular tenant in there or tenant buyer, or what would you do?
Probably tenant buyer.
Tenant buyer.
Yeah.
8,000 from the hairdresser or whatever it turns out to be. 13,400 and all your money back out.
Perfect.
Sound like a deal?
Deal.
Maximum target purchase price, 78.
Awesome.
Happy with that?
Perfect, thank you.
All right. If you've enjoyed that and you'd like to learn more about money, because after all, money does matter, why not subscribe to our YouTube channel and even put questions below, because once a month we do a Money Matters special where we answer your questions. You've been wonderful. We've been
Abby and Paul.
Abby and Paul, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Bye.